Welcome, dear seeker. You've arrived at a moment of deep reflection, a moment where we will confront the most pressing challenges of our time and explore the pathways that lead beyond them. Today's lecture, The Infinite Leap, Reclaiming Modernity's Betrayed Promise, through transcendence, creativity, and love, isn't just about understanding the complexities of modern life. It's about transcending them. It's an invitation to break free from the cycles that limit us and reconnect with something deeper, a more meaningful relationship with the infinite. Together, we will face the void, embrace raw transcendence, and begin to shape a world where love, beauty, and boundless potential are not just ideals, but lived realities. This journey is also the second part of our derivative series, inspired by the profound insights of Raphael Liogier, continuing our exploration of humanity's potential to transcend the limitations of the modern world. Now, in Part 2, we will delve even deeper. This chapter of our journey might feel slightly darker, more intense, and perhaps more compelling than the first. But that's because we are confronting modernity's betrayed promise, engaging with the raw forces that lie beneath the surface of the abyss. Yet, it is in this confrontation that the most profound transformation becomes possible. Let's begin by setting the stage with the degenerative path from modernity to industrialism. In this first section, we'll explore how the initial promise of modernity, once filled with the hope of progress and enlightenment, gradually devolved into materialism and industrialism. We'll reflect on how this shift has collectively repressed our deeper feelings, leading to a rise in global anxiety. But this is not just a critique. It's a way to understand how we arrived here and how we can move forward. From there, we'll move into the horror of the abyss and the call of raw transcendence. Here, we'll confront the existential abyss directly. You'll be guided through the experience of facing the void, but instead of fearing it, you'll learn to embrace its infinite potential. This chapter is about transforming the unknown into an opportunity for growth, a doorway to raw transcendence, and a direct encounter with the boundless. Next, we'll dive into the cycles of entrapment, technology, identity, and success. In this section, we'll explore how technology, identity, and success have become traps, often pursued for their own sake rather than for genuine growth. We'll expose the illusion of success as a form of fake transcendence that keeps us endlessly chasing what cannot truly satisfy. But there is a way out, and we'll uncover it in Transcending the Triple Negativity, A Path Forward. Here, we'll move beyond crisis, limitation, and blame. Together, we will embrace what I call positive hubris, the boldness to believe in infinite potential. You'll learn how to build a concrete utopia, a future where love, beauty, and transcendence are at the heart of our shared existence. And you'll see how aesthetics, the pursuit and appreciation of beauty, can serve as the foundation for reclaiming our ethics and guiding us toward a more compassionate and connected world. Finally, we'll arrive at reclaiming modernity's betrayed promise. In this concluding section, we'll chart the next evolutionary leap, transcending the cycles of entrapment that have defined so much of modern life. This isn't just about confronting the void, it's about embracing the mystery it holds and building a world that thrives on openness, creativity, and infinite potential. As we stand together at the threshold of this journey, I invite you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you feel inclined, and take a deep breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. Allow yourself to settle into the stillness of this moment, to become fully present. Can you sense it? That quiet, persistent whisper beneath the noise of everyday life, a subtle calling from something deeper, more profound. It beckons you beyond the routines of daily existence, beyond the pursuit of success and the distractions of technology. Maybe you've felt it in a fleeting moment of awe, in the stillness between thoughts or in the spaces that words can't quite touch. We live in a world that is both extraordinary and disorienting. The Enlightenment promised us a future illuminated by reason, driven by freedom, and uplifted by the boundless potential of the human spirit. Visionaries sparked within us a fire of curiosity and the courage to explore beyond what was known. They dared us to dream of what could be. But along the way, something shifted. The Industrial Revolution, with all its brilliance, tethered us to machines, to systems, to rhythms that often feel disconnected from who we really are. Materialism crept in, and the pursuit of wealth and convenience overshadowed our search for deeper meaning and connection. The progress that was meant to set us free has, in many ways, left us feeling confined and fragmented. Have you ever wondered how we got here? How the promise of modernity, that vision of an enlightened, free, and connected world, became distorted by the very tools and advancements we once celebrated? You're not alone in asking these questions. Many of us feel this dissonance, this gap between the world we live in and the one our hearts long for. This lecture is an invitation to explore that gap, to dive deep into the cycles of entrapment that have shaped our modern existence. The over-reliance on technology that distances us from genuine connection, the rigid identities that divide us, and the hollow chase for success that leaves us unfulfilled. Together, we will confront the abyss, that profound emptiness that quietly lingers beneath the surface of our daily lives. It may feel unsettling at first, even intimidating, but within this abyss lies something extraordinary, a void of limitless potential. It's here, in this space, that we can touch the pulse of raw transcendence, an encounter with the infinite possibilities that flow through all of existence. As we journey through these themes, we will draw on the wisdom of philosophers like Plotinus and Schiller, the insights of Eastern traditions such as Buddhism, and the rich spiritual knowledge of indigenous cultures. These threads from history, culture, and spirituality will help us weave a path back to ourselves, to a deeper connection with the world, and ultimately to a future that reflects our deepest values. This is not just a journey of ideas, it's a journey of transformation. It's about embracing new ways of seeing and being. It's about discovering the untapped wellspring of creativity, beauty, and infinite potential that resides within each of us. Along this path, we'll explore how the arts can serve as a portal to transcendence, how embracing the void can lead to fulfillment, and how we can co-create a world shaped by love, beauty, and authenticity. These words are not just concepts. My hope is that they become an experience, an invitation that resonates not just with your mind, but with your heart, with that part of you that yearns for something more. As we embark on this journey together, I encourage you to stay open, to reflect, to question, to feel. Let your curiosity awaken. Let your imagination soar. Engage fully with the ideas and themes we will explore. We stand at a pivotal moment, a crossroads in our collective history, a chance to reclaim the promise of modernity and to shape a future that reflects our truest aspirations. This journey calls for courage, honesty, and a willingness to embrace both the challenges and the wonders that await. So, my friend, are you ready to take this step? Let's begin. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the world awakening, a world where the air hums with possibility, where the horizons stretch endlessly before us, full of promise. This was the dawn of modernity, in the 16th century during the Renaissance, when art, science, and humanism sparked a new wave of creativity and inquiry. It was a time when the human spirit, long constrained by the shadows of superstition and ignorance, began to stir. An age of collective rising, where curiosity became our guiding star and hope fueled our every step forward. Modernity was more than just a new chapter in human history. It was a profound shift in consciousness. No longer were we content to live within the confines of old dogmas and static traditions. A new spirit emerged, one of exploration, innovation, and liberation. It was an unshakable belief that through reason, imagination, and the indomitable human spirit, we could transcend the limitations that had long held us back. This shift gained momentum in the early 17th century, during the scientific revolution, when figures like Galileo and Descartes began to challenge old assumptions and prioritize reason. Let us journey forward in time to an era when the world stood on the cusp of profound transformation. It was the age of enlightenment, a time when the thinkers of the day dared to do something revolutionary. They questioned. By the late 17th and into the 18th century, the Enlightenment flourished across Europe, championed by philosophers like John Locke and Voltaire. They challenged the unquestionable and embraced the infinite possibilities that lay beyond what was already known. Can you feel the energy of that? A bold spark that ignited the fire of reason and inquiry. These were not just small steps. They were leaps of faith in human potential. Reason became our compass, our tool for unlocking the mysteries of the universe. It was no longer enough to accept the world as it was. The belief took root that we could shape it, mold it with our hands, our minds, our hearts. This spirit was embodied in the works of great visionaries like Immanuel Kant, René Descartes, and Voltaire during the 18th century. But it wasn't just their intellect that lit the way. It was their deep faith in our shared potential as human beings. They believed that within each of us lay the power to transcend the known and touch the infinite. Can you imagine that feeling, the sense that the universe was opening itself to us? It was as though the cosmos extended an invitation to explore its depths, not as something forbidden, but as nourishment for the soul. The Enlightenment became a renaissance of the mind and spirit, a celebration of freedom, freedom to think, freedom to create, freedom to question. And in this newfound freedom, the arts blossomed, sciences flourished, and societies began to reimagine themselves in the glow of this expanding understanding. Creativity became sacred, an expression of our shared humanity. The artists, the writers, the philosophers, can you see them? They were more than cultural figures. They were modern-day shamans, guiding us through the uncharted territories of our own evolution. Together there was a sense, wasn't there, that something extraordinary was happening, something bigger than just technological advances or economic shifts. It was a deeper journey, a collective awakening, a spiritual and intellectual transcendence. At the heart of modernity there was a promise that progress was not just about invention, not just about material growth, but about the expansion of human consciousness. Progress was a journey toward enlightenment, not just for the individual, but for all of us. For the collective, for you, and for me. And yet, even in those early days, the promise felt fragile, like a flame that needed careful nurturing. We were called not only to innovate, but to evolve consciously, with integrity and purpose. It was not a path of certainty, but one that required courage. It asked of us humility and a willingness to remain open, to the unknown, to the unseen, to the mysteries that still lay ahead. For a while it seemed we were on that path. The world felt alive with invention, discovery, and the belief that the future was a canvas ready for our boldest visions. But listen closely. Can you hear it? Beneath that glittering surface, something subtle began to shift. A whisper of change, almost imperceptible at first. The very forces that had once propelled us forward began to stir in a different way, leading us away from the promise that had sparked our journey. The path of light seemed to fade, and unknowingly, we veered onto a different course. And so, here we stand. In this moment of reflection, we are invited to look back and to look forward, to ask ourselves, where did we lose our way? And more importantly, how can we realign with that sacred promise, the promise of progress, transcendence, and awakening to the deepest truths of our existence? Take a breath, my friend, and let's continue this journey together. Let's step into this moment together, this crossroads of history where something profound began to change. With the dawn of the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century, a new force surged through the world, reshaping everything in its path. It wasn't just the landscape that shifted, but something deeper. A fundamental change in how we understood ourselves and our place in the world. This force at first seemed like a continuation of the great Enlightenment promise, the drive for knowledge, the push for progress. But soon, we found ourselves swept up in a different kind of momentum. The noble pursuit of enlightenment gave way to the relentless pursuit of economic expansion and technological domination. What began as a spark of curiosity became engulfed in the cold, mechanistic march of industry. The rhythm of the natural world, once a guide for our creativity and reflection, was drowned out by the endless clamor of machinery. Can you sense it? That shift? The ideals that once celebrated human potential and creativity were distorted. Progress, once measured in terms of spiritual enrichment and the flowering of the human spirit, became reduced to the cold metrics of output and wealth. Factories replaced forests. And with each new invention, with each new technological marvel, we drifted further from the original vision, a vision where progress meant something deeper, something sacred. You can feel it, can't you? That sense of something slipping away. With each step forward in material progress, there was a widening gap, a loss of the deeper meaning that once infused life. The natural world, which once spoke to us with its quiet wisdom, became a mere backdrop, a resource to be extracted and consumed. We began to see nature not as a partner in our journey, but as something to conquer, to bend to our will. Mountains were leveled, rivers diverted, landscapes forever changed. But we must ask ourselves, progress at what cost? The connection, the reverence, the mystery that once tethered us to the world around us, was it slipping away? And as the world around us transformed, so too did the way we saw ourselves. No longer creators of beauty, no longer seekers of meaning, we were reduced to cogs in a vast machine. Human worth, once measured by our creativity, our capacity for wonder, our compassion, became distilled into something much smaller, much colder. Hours worked, products made, profits earned. It was as if the essence of what it meant to be human was being overshadowed by the growing demands of industry. Even our language began to change. Efficiency, profit margin, market value, these became the words that dominated our conversations. Meanwhile, words like meaning, connection, and purpose slowly faded from the forefront. The rich tapestry of human experience, the things that made life feel alive and real, were reduced to numbers, data points, and economic indicators. But even in the midst of this grand transformation, as factories rose and the hum of machinery became the new heartbeat of progress, there were those who felt something stir deep within. A quiet, nagging discomfort. Something was off, though it wasn't fully understood at the time. Progress appeared to be booming, and yet beneath the surface, something vital was slipping away. It began as a subtle undercurrent of misalignment, like a shadow passing through the mind when the noise of industry momentarily quieted. The more we accumulated, the emptier we seemed to become. The natural world, once a source of wisdom and connection, had been reduced to something to conquer and consume. Forests were felled, rivers diverted, landscapes forever changed. But with each act of conquest, we lost not only resources but parts of ourselves. This dissonance grew, like an instrument out of tune in an otherwise harmonious orchestra. Our outer achievements, no matter how grand, couldn't resolve the gap between the material progress we sought and the inner fulfillment we craved. Something sacred was being sacrificed, the original promise of modernity, where progress was meant to enrich the human spirit, had been distorted into a race for production and wealth. Gradually, this quiet discomfort became a collective awareness. People began to feel the tension between their outer accomplishments and a deeper yearning that remained unsatisfied, as the mechanical rhythm of life overtook the natural flow that once sustained us. What was it? What was this elusive feeling, this ache? It was as though the more we accumulated, the emptier we became. The natural world, once the source of quiet wisdom and connection, had been pushed aside, turned into something to be conquered, extracted, and consumed. In our relentless quest to dominate nature and bend it to our will, we hadn't noticed what was being sacrificed. Some began to recognize the gap between what we were achieving externally and what we were losing internally. We had become distanced from what truly matters: love, beauty, connection, meaning. It became impossible to ignore the feeling that something essential was slipping away. The Industrial Revolution was more than just a technological shift. It was a spiritual divergence, a fork in the road where we were forced to choose between the material and the meaningful. And now here we are, standing on the edge of this divergence, faced with the consequences of that choice. The path of unchecked materialism has given us remarkable advancements, yes, but it has also left us with a deep spiritual abyss. And now, the question calls to us: how do we recalibrate? How do we reconnect with the original promise, the promise of progress that doesn't just advance us outwardly, but elevates us inwardly? The descent into industrialism isn't irreversible. We are being invited right now to pause, to reflect, to remember. Our challenge is not to dismantle what we've created, but to realign, to weave back into our progress the threads of meaning, connection, and purpose. The illusions that have kept us chasing material wealth can be confronted, and in doing so we can reclaim that original vision, a vision where progress isn't just about what we build, but about who we become in the process. Let's take a moment, my friend, to sit with that, to breathe it in. Imagine a world where our outer achievements are balanced with inner growth. This was the promise we were meant to fulfill, and it's still within our reach. Let's take a breath together and in this quiet moment reflect on the world we've created, the life you and I have become a part of. As smokestacks rose higher and machines multiplied, something shifted deep within. On the surface, the signs of progress were unmistakable: bustling cities, rising economies, an endless array of new inventions, and yet, beneath it all, a subtle unease began to settle. The more we surrounded ourselves with the artifacts of progress, the more a silent, persistent abyss made itself felt, didn't it? A whisper, quietly telling us that something vital had been lost in the trade-off for material gain. Beneath the surface of your busy life, just like the bustling cities and booming economies, there may have been a quiet ache, a feeling that despite all of the progress around you, something essential was slipping away. Today, this progress has reached a dizzying pace, fueled by the rise of artificial intelligence, its exponential development reshaping entire industries and processing an unimaginable amount of data in mere moments. Yet with every leap forward, a deeper question arises, doesn't it? As we harness these technologies with their immense power consumption, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Will artificial intelligence be a tool for wisdom, used to uplift humanity, foster creativity, and restore balance? Or will it become an instrument of control, used to overwatch, dominate, and further detach us from the very essence of what makes us human? The future of this technological force remains unclear, and the choices we make today will determine whether it leads us to deeper connection or a more rigid, monitored barbarism. But rather than face this growing discomfort, society, and perhaps even you, chose to mask it. We filled our lives with distractions, consumption, entertainment, and the ceaseless pursuit of the next big thing. Did you ever feel that each new acquisition, each fleeting pleasure might finally fill the emptiness inside? But despite how much you accumulated or achieved, that persistent sense of disconnection remained, didn't it? Deep within, you have always known there's more to life. The deeper human cravings for connection, for meaning, for transcendence, they never left you. But in a world so fixated on results, productivity, and tangible success, it's easy to dismiss those longings. Perhaps you were even told they were impractical, indulgent, or irrelevant. You may have convinced yourself that success, efficiency, and achievement were the only measures of a life well lived. And so, like many, you pressed forward, deeper into the noise, while something essential within you grew quieter and quieter. But here's the truth: your soul cannot be silenced forever. The things you refuse to face don't just disappear, they transform. What we, as a society, ignored for so long has become something darker, more pervasive. The disconnection, the ignored longing for meaning, has morphed into a global anxiety, an ever-present hum that you may have felt yourself. It's more than individual stress, it's a shared collective disquiet, a restlessness, a dissatisfaction, a kind of loneliness that seems to persist even in crowded spaces, in moments that should feel full. How often have you found yourself trying to fill that abyss with more of what caused it? More consumption, more technological escape, more productivity? And how often have you noticed that each new thing, each new achievement, only brought a fleeting sense of relief? Before long, the emptiness returned, perhaps deeper than before. It's as if the more you tried to escape it, the more the disconnect between your outer achievements and your inner self widened, leaving you feeling more adrift, despite how much you may have accomplished. This collective anxiety, this unease you feel, it signals something crucial. It's a symptom of a profound misalignment, a dissonance between the life you are living and the deeper truths of your existence. It's a sign that something is calling to you. Your soul is yearning, asking to be heard. And here's the beautiful part. Within this widespread unease lies an incredible opportunity. What if, instead of resisting this anxiety, you embraced it as a messenger? What if it's not something to escape, but a guide, a signal that it's time for you to realign? Maybe this angst you feel is calling you, not toward external progress, but toward a deeper journey of wisdom and enlightenment. What if this anxiety is urging you to remember who you are beyond the roles society has given you? What if it's inviting you to rediscover the joy of curiosity, the peace that comes from true connection, and the fulfillment that emerges when you live in alignment with your deepest values? The rise of global anxiety in many ways is a turning point. For the world, yes, but also for you personally. It's an invitation for you to pause, to reflect, and to realign. Can you feel that? The call to confront the discomfort rather than avoid it, to listen to the longings of your soul, and to ask the question, are you truly living in alignment with your highest potential? Within this anxiety, within the discomfort you feel, lies the seed of change. A reminder that you are capable of so much more than the roles you've been given. You are capable of waking up, of rediscovering the original promise of progress, not just in what you create, but in who you become. So take a moment, my friend, sit with this, breathe. Allow the unease to speak to you, not as something to fear, but as a guide. Within it lies an invitation to realign, to return to what truly matters. And in doing so, you will rediscover the profound fulfillment that comes not from what you acquire, but from who you are and who you are becoming. Together, let's embrace this journey, step by step, because you are ever evolving. You are a dynamic process of becoming, shaped not only by what you experience, but by how you respond to each moment. In every breath lies the potential for transformation, a shedding of the old and an embracing of the new. Embrace the uncertainty, for within it lies growth. Lao Tzu once said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." You are constantly in motion, a river carving its way through the world. Trust in your flow, for the journey itself reveals who you are. Together, let us step into this dance of becoming, not as mere participants, but as creators, shaping the masterpiece of our lives with every thought, every action. Because you are a part of the vast, interconnected web of existence, and you are always enough, exactly as you are and in every stage of who you are becoming. Now let us journey together into a place that many fear, a place where uncertainty reigns and where we often avoid looking. Yet within this space lies the very key to our deepest transformation, the potential to unlock truths we've long buried. It is here, in the heart of the unknown, where real growth begins and where the path to wisdom, connection, and awakening patiently awaits us. There comes a point in every profound journey where the path ahead becomes uncertain, where the clarity you once relied on dissolves into shadows. It is that moment when the certainty you've known begins to unravel, and the familiar comforts no longer seem to anchor you. This is where we encounter the abyss, a vast, terrifying expanse where meaning disintegrates and the very foundations of your world seem to fall away. This isn't just an abstract metaphor. The abyss is real. It's an existential reality each of us must face if we are to transcend the superficial layers of modern life. In our world today, the abyss is more present than ever. You live in an age of unprecedented distraction, a time when technology and constant connectivity offer you the illusion of meaning while keeping the abyss just out of sight. The endless demands of daily life, the ceaseless pursuit of success, and the pressures of social expectations create a polished surface, don't they? A surface that distracts you from facing the deeper questions of existence. But the abyss waits for those quiet moments, those cracks in the surface, when the distractions fade and you are left with the raw truth of modern life. At its core, the abyss forces you to confront the ultimate question. What remains when everything external is stripped away? What is left when the titles, the achievements, the identities you've built all fall apart? You may have wondered this before. What lies beyond the accolades and the structures that give your life shape? It's the realization that much of what you've invested time and energy in is transient, fragile. The markers of success, the systems of value, everything that defines the external world, is revealed as fleeting. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? To realize that the universe moves on, indifferent to these constructs we hold so dear. For many, the encounter with the abyss is paralyzing. It's easier to turn away, to retreat into the familiar comforts of distraction, whether through work, entertainment, or the pursuit of material gain, than to face the profound meaningless that lies at the heart of modern existence. You may have felt this urge yourself, to look away from the depth of it. After all, the abyss threatens to unravel the very fabric of your reality, doesn't it? It challenges the narratives you've come to rely on, the stories you tell yourself to make sense of the noisy world. And yet, it's in this very confrontation that the possibility of transformation begins. To face the abyss is to stand on the edge of the unknown, to let go of the need for certainty, and to embrace the mystery of existence. It takes courage, my friend, because the abyss doesn't promise comfort or resolution. But here's the gift it offers, the chance to transcend the limitations of your constructed self, to step into a deeper, more expansive reality. The darkness of the abyss holds within it the seed of raw transcendence, a potential that can only be unlocked by confronting it head-on. By peeling away the layers of illusion, you create space for something new to emerge, something that transcends the superficial markers of success and taps into the deeper truths of existence. And in this way, the abyss is not a place of despair, but a gateway to transformation. What awaits you on the other side of the abyss? For those who dare to descend into its depths, there lies something profound, a direct, unmediated encounter with the infinite. And beyond that abyss, you find the void, a realm of limitless potential, a moment hanging in the balance between becoming and not becoming. This is the space of raw transcendence, beyond the reach of any doctrine or philosophy, beyond the confines of thought. It's an experience that eludes definition, one that can't be captured by words. It is direct, immediate, deeply personal. Think about those moments when you stood by the ocean, watching the waves crash endlessly on the shore, or gazed up at the stars on a quiet night, feeling the vastness of the universe envelop you. In those moments, you weren't thinking about transcendence. You were experiencing it. That's what raw transcendence is. It's the infinite touching you, right here, right now, without filters or mediation. It's not something you find through rituals or doctrines. It doesn't come with the comforts of certainty or predictability. Instead, it comes when you meet existence face to face, stripped of all pretense. Raw transcendence is chaotic, ever becoming, alive, constantly unfolding, never static. In this space of raw transcendence, you're asked to let go of your need for certainty, for control, for solid answers. Like standing on the edge of a vast cliff, there's nothing to hold on to except the mystery itself. Every moment becomes a new beginning, an opportunity for transformation. But raw transcendence doesn't provide easy answers. It invites you to confront the truth of existence in all its complexity, both awe-inspiring and unsettling. It's always present, waiting to be experienced, but it requires an openness to the unknown, a willingness to step beyond what's comfortable and familiar. You've felt this before, even if you didn't name it, when the world seems to blur around you and you're left with just the raw pulse of life itself. Maybe it was in a quiet moment, watching the sunrise paint the sky, or in the stillness that follows a deep breath. To encounter raw transcendence is to acknowledge that life is inherently chaotic, that nothing is permanent, and everything is in constant motion. This realization can feel disorienting at first, especially when we've spent so much time building our lives on the illusion of stability. But there's a liberation in this too. In this space, you're no longer confined by the roles you've played or the identities you've constructed. You're free to become something more, to be an active participant in the ongoing creation of the universe. In this encounter with the infinite, something boundless stirs within you. You begin to recognize that part of yourself which is not defined by the masks you wear or the expectations of others. Just as the universe expands, so do you. The lines between self and other, between subject and object, start to dissolve. You feel a deep interconnectedness, a belonging to something far greater than yourself. Raw transcendence isn't just personal, it's cosmic. It connects you to the very rhythm of creation itself, the heartbeat of the universe. Remember the feeling of standing under a starlit sky, the quiet awe as you felt your smallness in the face of something so vast. That's the essence of raw transcendence. It's not far away, not unreachable. It's here, waiting to be noticed. If you feel drawn to explore this void further, I invite you to listen to the first part of this series, The Path of Light, Humanity's Journey Toward Transcendence, Beauty, and Love in a Modern World. This lecture dives deeper into the mysteries of existence, exploring the void with more depth and clarity. But for now, let's return to this experience of raw transcendence and see how it resonates with various philosophical traditions. These perspectives offer different ways to engage with this profound reality, providing insights that may help you navigate your own encounters with the infinite. In the Buddhist concept of sunyata, or emptiness, we find a parallel to raw transcendence. Shunyata doesn't imply a void devoid of meaning, but rather points to the absence of intrinsic, separate existence. Everything is interconnected, arising in dependence on causes and conditions. This aligns with your experience of raw transcendence, where the boundaries between you and the rest of existence dissolve, revealing the fluid, interdependent nature of reality. By embracing this emptiness, you release the ego's grip on permanence and control. Life becomes a dynamic, ever-changing flow. This shift in perception opens you to a deeper understanding of your place in the universe, a shift that mirrors your own journey into raw transcendence. In Western philosophy, phenomenology, as developed by thinkers like Edmund Husserl and Maurice Merleau-Ponty, encourages a return to direct experience, to the world as it is, without the layers of interpretation we typically impose. It's about experiencing the things themselves. This philosophy invites you to engage with the world as it presents itself in all its richness and complexity, much like the encounter with raw transcendence. Merleau-Ponty's idea of the lived body also resonates here. He highlights how consciousness is deeply intertwined with the physical world. Your experiences aren't just abstract intellectual thoughts. They are embodied, sensory, and alive. In the same way, raw transcendence asks you to fully engage with reality, not as a distant observer, but as an active participant. You let go of habitual patterns of thinking, and in doing so, open yourself to the infinite possibilities of existence. The existentialist philosophy of Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir offers another perspective. Existentialism emphasizes the inherent freedom and responsibility of human existence. You aren't defined by a fixed essence. You're constantly creating yourself through your choices. Raw transcendence echoes this idea, urging you to embrace the fluidity of life. It calls you to live authentically, to engage fully with the world, and to create meaning in the face of uncertainty. In doing so, you don't encounter the void as a source of despair, but as a space of infinite possibility, a blank canvas on which you can paint the story of your life. So, my friend, as we stand together at the edge of this abyss, do not fear the void. See it for what it truly is, a gateway, an invitation to step beyond the boundaries of certainty and into the boundless realm of raw transcendence. You are ready. Let's walk this path together. The journey won't always be easy, but it is necessary. Together we must move beyond fear, beyond the comfort of what we know, and open ourselves to what lies ahead. The void isn't an end, it is a beginning, a threshold we must cross to fully embrace our potential. The fear of the abyss is primal and deeply ingrained in the human psyche. It is the fear of losing ourselves, of being swallowed by the unknown, of dissolving into nothingness. But paradoxically, the only way to transcend the abyss is to move through it, to face it head-on and to embrace that which we fear most. When we stop resisting the abyss, when we allow ourselves to fully experience the darkness, we begin to see it not as an end point of despair but as a threshold to the void, a space of infinite potential where new meanings can emerge. The void is where transformation happens. It is where we shed the layers of false identity, external validation, and material attachments that have kept us confined. In the void, we are stripped down to the essence of who we truly are. It is here, in this place of raw transcendence, that we find the fertile ground for growth and evolution. Meaning is not something imposed from outside. It is something we co-create with the universe. We become active participants in the unfolding of existence, no longer bound by the limitations of the past. Transcending the fear of the abyss is not about conquering or vanquishing it. It is about understanding that the abyss is a necessary passage in our journey toward greater awareness and understanding. It is a rite of passage that leads us to the vast expanse of the void, a realm of openness, creativity, and profound connection to the flow of life. As you move through the abyss and into the void, you'll come to realize that the abyss was never something to fear. It was always a passage, a doorway to something far greater than you imagined. What once seemed like a boundary was, in truth, the entrance to a deeper, more expansive reality. By embracing the void, you're not just stepping into the unknown, you're aligning yourself with the rhythm of raw transcendence, where infinite possibilities await you. Here, in this vast space of potential, you're not merely an observer, you are a creator. The limits you've known can be left behind, and in their place, you can shape the story of your own becoming. This journey is yours, and the horizon before you is boundless. Let's take a moment to step back from the noise and distractions of the modern world, to reflect on the cycles that have drawn us in, those subtle traps that keep us moving faster and faster, yet leave us feeling ever more disconnected. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the dawn of the technological age, a time when innovation was like a beacon on the horizon, offering hope and the promise of liberation. We believed that technology could free us from the burdens of labor, cure diseases that plagued humanity, and connect us in ways that were once beyond imagination. In those early days, technology felt like more than just a tool. It was a bridge to a brighter future, a future where the human spirit could soar. But can you feel how that relationship has changed? How, over time, our connection to technology has shifted from one of purpose to one of dependency? What was once a means to an end, a way to enrich our lives and elevate the human condition, has become an end in itself. We've entered a cycle where technology is no longer pursued to serve our highest aspirations, but simply for the sake of progress itself. The deeper questions, why and to what end, have faded into the background. It was a tool in our hands, one we believed we could wield wisely. But like all powerful tools, it has begun to shape us as much as we shape it. You see, technology was once the servant of our dreams. Now it seems to be directing the dreams themselves. We thought we could master it, but in many ways, it is now mastering us. What started as an instrument of liberation has at times become a source of distraction, drawing us further away from the very dreams it was meant to fulfill. In the words of the Zen master Ikkyu, "Having never met the Buddha, I walked through the forest of delusion. Let us not forget to guide our technological wanderings with mindfulness, to return to the questions that matter, and to rediscover the why beneath it all, so that we don't find ourselves lost in that forest of delusion. We now find ourselves in a relentless chase, caught in a loop of technology for technology's sake. Every new breakthrough, every upgrade promises you more speed, more efficiency, more power. But have you ever paused to ask, what is the true cost of this endless pursuit? You may have noticed it already. This race has no finish line. There's always something newer, faster, more advanced. Yet with each innovation, the satisfaction you hoped for remains just out of reach. The horizon keeps shifting, and the cycle continues, ever faster, ever more frantic. This is the technology trap. We've become tethered to our devices, drawn into an abyss of endless progress, with each new gadget or app arriving with the promise of revolutionizing your life. And yet, as soon as you embrace the latest innovation, you find yourself wanting again, don't you? The deeper satisfaction, the sense of wholeness we once believed technology could offer, remains elusive. We keep reaching, but it slips further away. In this cycle, technology has become a self-perpetuating force, detached from the deeper purpose it was meant to serve. You may find that the question is no longer how technology can improve your life or deepen your connections, but instead, a constant craving for the next update, the next leap forward. The allure of novelty has captivated us, leading us to believe that the next breakthrough will complete us, will somehow make us whole. Instead of bringing us closer to freedom, it has made us more dependent, tethered to screens, lost in endless streams of data and distractions that pull us away from truly living. Consider for a moment how this cycle plays out in our daily lives, how the quest for the next big innovation subtly shapes the choices we make, often without us even realizing it. Imagine the story of Sarah, a young professional who bought her first smartphone years ago, amazed at the convenience it brought into her life. Emails at her fingertips, GPS to navigate the city, and instant connections with loved ones. But as time passed, Sarah noticed a shift. Every year, a new version of her phone appeared, marketed with minor improvements, a sharper camera, a faster processor. She didn't need it, but the constant advertisements and her peers' enthusiasm created a subtle pressure. One by one, Sarah upgraded, each time thinking this new model would offer something more, something she was missing. Yet every upgrade brought only a fleeting sense of excitement. A week later, the phone was just another object in her hand, no different from the last. Each purchase had promised wholeness, but each left her searching for the next. Deep down, she began to realize that no amount of megapixels or speed would fill the growing sense of dissatisfaction that lingered. Next, there's Mark. Mark joined Facebook when it first launched, reveling in the chance to reconnect with old friends and share life's moments. As time went on, more platforms emerged: Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. Each one offered something new, a different way to express, to connect, to share. And so, Mark joined them all, one after the other, thinking that each platform would help him stay connected, stay relevant. But instead of feeling more connected, Mark felt more scattered. Hours slipped away as he tried to keep up with notifications, likes, and comments. His interactions became fleeting, shallow. There was always another post to scroll through, another tweet to react to. Mark realized that instead of deepening his relationships, He was drowning in superficial interactions, lost in an ocean of digital noise. The connection he craved seemed further away than ever. Then we have Emma. She was drawn to virtual reality for its promise of immersive experiences, worlds where she could explore, learn, and escape from the stresses of everyday life. At first it felt liberating, a chance to step into another dimension and be whoever she wanted to be. She spent her evenings in VR games, meeting people from around the globe in virtual spaces. Yet, as the lines between the virtual and the real began to blur, Emma found herself avoiding the real world. The more time she spent in these virtual environments, the less satisfied she felt with her own life. Her real-world friendships began to fade, her responsibilities neglected. While the VR world offered endless stimulation, it couldn't offer true connection or fulfillment. She was immersed in virtual experiences, but increasingly disconnected from the physical reality where her life unfolded. Consider Paul, a factory worker who took pride in his craft. He'd spent decades working on the assembly line, honing his skills and developing a deep connection with the work he did. Then came AI. The company began to automate processes that had once required human precision. At first, it seemed like a good thing, greater efficiency, fewer mistakes. But it didn't take long before Paul and many of his colleagues were replaced by machines. Paul watched as the factory floor he had worked on for years became dominated by AI-powered robots. The machines were faster, tireless, and far more efficient than any human could ever be. But while production soared, Paul found himself unemployed, struggling to find work in a world that no longer needed his skill set. The very technology that had promised to free humanity from mundane tasks left him displaced, questioning his purpose in a system that now valued automation over human effort. Finally, picture Anna, a film enthusiast who once enjoyed the process of carefully selecting a movie, watching it with full attention, and reflecting on it afterward. But with the rise of streaming platforms like Netflix, her approach to entertainment changed. The endless array of shows, movies, and series meant that she no longer had to wait or choose carefully. Everything was available at her fingertips, ready to binge at any moment. At first it felt like a dream, but after months of consuming content in a rush, racing through seasons, skipping intros, jumping from one show to the next, Anna realized something was wrong. The stories no longer touched her in the same way. There was no space to reflect, to savor the emotional depth of what she watched. What once brought her joy and meaning had become a mindless habit, leaving her unfulfilled, constantly searching for the next show, the next escape. These stories, though fictional, may feel familiar to you, reflecting patterns we all encounter in this world, driven by constant innovation and consumption. Technology has brought us remarkable tools, but somewhere along the way, we've lost sight of the deeper purpose it was meant to serve. We've been pulled into cycles of dependency, where progress is measured not by fulfillment or connection, but by speed, efficiency, and the number of upgrades. But you know deep down that this progress is illusory. The more we chase it, the further we drift from the original promise of technology as a tool for liberation. Instead of bringing us closer to freedom, it has made us more dependent, tethered to screens, lost in endless streams of data and distractions that pull us away from truly living. We've traded depth for speed, connection for efficiency, and meaning for the fleeting thrill of the next upgrade. Progress, when stripped of purpose, is not progress at all. It becomes a hollow pursuit, a descent into convenience that leaves us disconnected, not just from others, but from ourselves and the world around us. The dissatisfaction, disconnection, and disorientation that follow inevitably lead to disruption. And yet it is possible to break free from these cycles. The first step is to recognize them for what they are, a chase after the next best thing that keeps us drifting further from the meaning we seek. The second step, pausing, reflecting, asking ourselves not just whether we can keep up with the pace of technology, but whether this pace is truly aligned with what we need for a life of purpose, connection, and depth. So I ask you now, What would happen if you stepped out of the cycle? If you paused and took a moment to question where this path is truly leading? Could it be that the very things we thought would liberate us have instead created new chains? Where in your life might these cycles have taken hold? Where might you reclaim the deeper promise of technology, a promise not of endless upgrades and distractions, but of true liberation and connection? The path is there, waiting for you to step out of the cycle and into the fullness of life once again. But first, it requires a moment of stillness, a breath, a pause. Just like standing at the edge of a fast-moving river, you must first become aware of the current that swept you along. Once you see the cycle, you begin to awaken. Awareness itself is the first step toward freedom. In our relentless pursuit of technological advancement, we've sacrificed something vital, something deeply essential, the quality and depth of your lived experience. As we race toward greater efficiency, we've begun to quantify everything, reducing the rich tapestry of life to numbers, metrics, and data points. Look around you, you can see it everywhere. We measure success by productivity, happiness by the number of likes or followers, and even health is boiled down to statistics on a screen. You've been taught to believe that if it can't be measured, it can't be valued. But what about the things that can't be quantified? The moments of quiet reflection, the warmth of a true connection, the simple joy of being present in the world. Aren't those the things that make life feel rich and full? In prioritizing what can be counted, we have neglected what truly counts. The art of craftsmanship, the pleasure of a leisurely walk, the beauty of an unhurried conversation. You may have noticed how these moments are being overshadowed by our obsession with instant results and surface-level interactions. We've traded richness for convenience, depth for speed, and in doing so, we've created a culture that is wide but shallow. Have you ever felt that, despite being constantly connected, you are drifting further from real intimacy? That the more informed you become, the harder it is to find true wisdom? This is the subtle erosion of meaning that comes with the obsession to quantify. You may not have realized it at first, but the more we prioritize data over experience, the more we lose touch with what makes us feel truly alive. Think about it. In your quest for efficiency, have you noticed the subtle beauty of life, the mysteries of nature, the profound connections between people, the intricate landscapes of your inner world, slipping into the background? These are the parts of existence that cannot be captured by an algorithm or a spreadsheet, but they are essential to your humanity. The danger, my friend, is that by reducing life to numbers, we risk losing the very essence of what it means to be alive. The technology trap not only distracts you from the deeper meaning of life, but actively erodes your capacity to seek it. The more we prioritize quantity over quality, the more we create a culture that is fast-paced but shallow, connected but not intimate, informed but not wise. If you wish to reclaim a sense of meaning in your life, it requires a conscious choice. You must resist the urge to quantify everything. You must slow down, take time to reflect, and reconnect with the moments that make life worth living. In Zen, there is a teaching. When you're rushing forward, it's often the time to slow down. This slowing down is not weakness, but wisdom. The joy of creating something with care, the peace of being surrounded by nature, the depth of a shared human connection. These are the experiences that nourish the soul, that remind you of what it means to be truly alive. So I invite you now, pause, take a breath, ask yourself what truly counts. Now let's slow down for a moment and sit with that question. As we continue our journey together, we will explore the ways in which identity, success, and technology have become traps, imprisoning us in cycles that no longer serve us. But there is a way out if you're willing to look beyond the surface. Close your eyes and think about how you define yourself. Perhaps it's through the work you do, the roles you play, or the affiliations you've chosen. But here's the deeper question. Do these identities truly reflect who you are, or have they become a mask that limits your growth? Identity, once a path to self-understanding, has become a kind of prison. We've entered the identity for identity's sake cycle, where the labels we cling to are more about validation than authenticity. In today's world, you are encouraged to define yourself through external markers, social media profiles, consumer choices, political affiliations. These labels offer a sense of belonging, don't they? They provide you with the comfort of fitting into a category, but often this comes at the cost of something far more precious: your true self. We have started curating our identities to match predefined molds, seeking validation from others instead of embarking on the inward journey of self-discovery. You've probably felt it too, haven't you? That nagging sense that these labels may not tell the full story of who you are. We've become attached to these roles, investing them with great importance, and sometimes they confine us. Identity, which should be fluid and evolving, has become static and performative. We cling to the personas we've created, even when they no longer serve us, even when they no longer reflect the depth of who you truly are. This is the identity prison, a space where you are confined by the very constructs meant to help you navigate the world. You might find yourself locked into a cycle of seeking validation through identity, rather than growth through exploration. This cycle of self-definition can be self-destructive, focusing more on what makes us different, what divides us from others, rather than what connects us. You may have noticed how often we emphasize our differences, whether through politics, culture, or personal choices, erecting walls between ourselves and those who don't share our particular label. But here's what you may have forgotten. Beneath those layers of identity lies something deeper. Beneath those external markers, there is a shared humanity, a common ground where you can find understanding, compassion, and solidarity with others. To escape the identity prison, you must be willing to look beyond the surface, to embrace the complexity within yourself and others, and to recognize that your true essence cannot be captured by any single label. Now is your chance to step out of those rigid confines, free yourself from the need for external validation, let go of the roles that no longer serve you, and embrace the fluidity of who you are becoming. Beyond the labels lies something richer, an authentic connection to yourself and the world, rooted in a deeper understanding of what truly matters. You are not bound by the limitations of your past identities. You are expansive, evolving, and connected to something far greater than any label could ever define. When faced with the vast unknown, the existential void that whispers questions about meaning, purpose, and your place in the universe, it's natural to seek refuge. You may have sought comfort in the familiar, in the safety of a fixed identity, as a way to maintain a sense of control in an unpredictable world. But here's the danger. That refuge can easily become a trap, leading you into the realm of negative metaphysics, a worldview rooted in division, opposition, and the rejection of others. By defining yourself narrowly, by clinging to an identity that differentiates us from them, you may unknowingly fall into a mindset of exclusion. You start seeing those who are different from you not as fellow human beings, but as adversaries, as threats to your way of life. Have you noticed this in the world around you? How easy it is to fall into an us versus them mentality. This division fosters conflict and shuts down the possibility of real dialogue, real understanding. Populism thrives in such an environment. It feeds on fear and division, offering simple answers to complex questions. It promises a return to some imagined retro-utopia, a past that never truly existed, but one that people long for in times of uncertainty. But these promises are illusions, aren't they? They distract you from addressing the real challenges we face, from engaging with the deeper work of growth and transformation. The identity prison isolates you, not just from others, but from your own potential for change. It keeps you trapped in a fixed worldview, cutting you off from the deeper parts of yourself that long to evolve. So how do you transcend the identity trap? The answer lies in confronting the existential questions that your identities often mask. True solace, true freedom, doesn't come from external labels or fixed definitions. It comes from the courage to explore the vast, uncharted territories within you, the places that cannot be confined by any single role, the parts of you that are constantly evolving, constantly becoming. As if the traps of technology and identity weren't enough, there's another cycle that keeps you bound: the pursuit of success. From an early age, you've likely been told that success is the ultimate measure of a life well lived. The more you achieve, the higher you climb, the more wealth and status you accumulate, the closer you'll come to fulfillment. But let me ask you, has this pursuit ever truly satisfied you? Many reach the pinnacle of what society calls success, only to find themselves standing in an empty room. The applause fades, the accolades gather dust, and they are left with a question that haunts them. Is this all there is? Perhaps you felt it yourself, that nagging sense of emptiness despite achieving everything you thought you wanted. It's as if success, once grasped, dissolves like a mirage in the desert, leaving behind only thirst and disillusionment. We have confused external validation with inner fulfillment, haven't we? Society has conditioned us to chase after goals that may not even belong to us, believing that once we reach them, we'll feel complete. But the pursuit of success is often a mirage, a form of fake transcendence. It promises to elevate you, but in reality, it pulls you further away, from yourself, from others, and from the deeper meaning of life. As the great philosopher Alan Watts once said, we are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between an all-powerfully causative past and an absorbingly important future. In our relentless chase toward success, we forget to be present, to savor the richness of the moment, where life's real meaning resides. True transcendence doesn't come from amassing wealth or achievements. It comes from the richness of your experiences, the depth of your relationships, and the authenticity of your engagement with the world. It's about your journey inward, about cultivating a life that is meaningful, not just successful by society's standards. To reclaim a sense of true quality in your life, you must turn inward. It's about shifting your focus away from outward success and toward inner depth. This requires you to slow down, to truly listen, and to engage with the world in a way that is intentional, meaningful, and authentic. Consider the wisdom of Buddhist interbeing, which teaches that our lives are not isolated, but deeply connected to everything around us. True success, then, is not about individual accomplishment, but about how we contribute to the whole. Sufi mystics remind us that divine love is found not through acquiring more, but by letting go, by stripping away the illusions that cloud the heart. So, what does real success look like? It is the richness of a life lived with intentionality, not in the endless pursuit of more, but in the deep appreciation of what is already here. It is found in relationships that nourish the spirit, in acts of kindness that ripple out into the world, and in moments of presence where we touch the sacred in the everyday. You see, turning inward is not a retreat from the world, but a rediscovery of your place within it. When you pause, breathe, and listen to the quiet voice of your own heart, you begin to realize that true success has never been about external achievement. It is about alignment with yourself, with others, and with the deeper currents of life. This is where real transcendence happens, not in the trophies and titles, but in the moments of stillness, the connections that move your soul, the peace that comes from knowing who you truly are. By embracing the wisdom of these traditions, you can break free from the illusion of success as defined by society, and instead cultivate a life of depth, a life where every action, every thought, every connection is imbued with meaning. In doing so, you become a part of the healing not just for yourself, but for the world. The Dalai Lama once said, "If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito." Your life, lived authentically and with purpose, is a powerful force. The illusion of success, the cycle of fake transcendence, is simply that, an illusion. Real transcendence, my friend, comes not from rising above, but from going within. It comes from breaking free of the narrow definitions of success that society imposes and instead choosing to live in a way that aligns with your deepest values, your highest self. It is from this place that you will find true fulfillment, not in the chase, but in the quiet, steady presence of a life lived with intention and love. Let's journey together now, deeper into the heart of transformation, where we can begin to untangle the forces that hold us back and discover the path forward. This next step requires not only reflection, but a courageous shift in perspective, one that invites you to transcend the limits of crisis, limitation, and blame, and embrace the audacity of infinite potential. Let's take this step together. Imagine standing at a crossroads, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on you. Have you felt it? The sense that crisis, limitation, and blame are intertwining forces, forming a web that keeps you stuck, making the path ahead seem hidden, obscured. Crisis looms like a storm on the horizon. Limitation whispers that you're not enough, and blame shackles you to past mistakes. These forces are powerful, aren't they? They can feel overwhelming, like immovable obstacles blocking your way. But what if I told you that these forces are not as solid as they appear? What if these challenges, crisis, limitation, and blame, are actually gateways to transformation? Let's take a closer look. Crisis grips you with urgency, often flooding you with fear and narrowing your vision to immediate survival. The world moves fast, and you feel the pressure to react, to fix, to solve, to control. But in this reaction you may lose sight of the horizon, of the bigger picture. Crisis has the power to paralyze, but it can also awaken. You see, crisis has within it the seed of change. It can be a catalyst, propelling you to innovate, to adapt, to find new solutions that you never thought possible. Crisis can unite us, revealing strengths and resilience that you didn't even know you had. Then there's limitation, which tells a different story, a story of scarcity, of ceilings and boundaries. It insists that resources are finite, that opportunities are reserved for others, and that your abilities have a ceiling. Have you ever felt that? That there's only so much you can achieve, only so much you can be. But what if limitation is not a wall but a challenge? What if it's inviting you to get creative, to explore uncharted parts of yourself and the world around you? When you question the stories of scarcity, you start to see abundance in places you never expected. Limitation becomes not a constraint but an invitation to discover new ways of being. Blame, too, holds you down. It's the weight of regret, of pointing the finger outward or inward. Blame keeps you locked in a cycle of resentment, focusing on what could have been or should have been. It keeps you stuck, doesn't it, tethered to wounds that haven't healed. But what if you could transform blame into responsibility? By owning your part, by acknowledging the role you play in the tapestry of life, you can reclaim your power. You shift from being a victim of circumstance to being the author of your own story. You learn from the past without being bound by it. Consider the lotus flower. It blooms not in pristine waters, but in the murk and mud. Its beauty emerges because of the struggle, not in spite of it. Similarly, the struggles you face, crisis, limitation, and blame, can nurture your growth if you let them. They are not obstacles. They are part of your journey toward renewal. So, my friend, let us embrace these challenges. You are being invited to shed old skins, to rise renewed. By changing your perspective, you can untangle the web and step onto a path illuminated by hope and possibility. Now imagine standing beneath a vast night sky. Look up and see the stars. They are countless, each one a testament to the boundless potential of the universe. And just as those stars remind you of the infinite possibilities above, so too do they reflect the boundless potential that lies within you. This is the essence of positive hubris, the audacious belief that you have the capacity to transcend limitations. But be careful. This isn't arrogance or blind ambition. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about confidently embracing your ability to grow, to innovate, and to create meaningful change in your life and in the world around you. For too long, you may have been told to stay small, to be realistic, to temper your dreams. Perhaps society, culture, or even your own doubts have imposed invisible ceilings on what you believe is possible. You may have been conditioned to stay in your lane, to believe that only certain people can achieve great things. But ask yourself, is realism just a snapshot of the current moment? Doesn't it fail to capture the fluidity of what's possible? Positive hubris invites you to dream bigger. It's the inner voice that whispers, "Why not me? Why not now?" It's the spark that ignites revolutions, fuels breakthroughs, and inspires art that moves souls. But let's acknowledge something important. History has shown us that unchecked ambition can lead to hubris of a destructive kind, one that disregards consequences, one that exploits rather than uplifts. You may have seen it before, how the pursuit of progress without reflection can cause harm. Environmental degradation, social injustice, exploitation in the name of success. So how do we embrace positive hubris without falling into those old traps? Let's root this vision in empathy and a deep sense of responsibility. To truly embody what we might call positive hubris, the ambition to achieve great things, you must approach it with humility and wisdom. Here are some guiding principles. First, ground your ambition in empathy. Let your goals be fueled by compassion. Make sure your dreams uplift others, not exploit them. Progress isn't real if it leaves people behind. So as you push for greatness, remember that your success is always intertwined with the well-being of others. We're all connected, and real progress includes everyone. Next, honor the interconnectedness of everything. Your actions send ripples through the world, influencing more than just your own life. Sustainability, whether it's environmental, social, or personal, matters in every choice you make. So when you're making decisions, think about their broader impact. It's about living in a way that doesn't just benefit you today, but also nurtures the world around you for the future. It's also important to stay open to diverse perspectives. No one has all the answers, and that's a strength, not a weakness. Collaboration and listening to others' experiences enrich your own thinking and creativity. Seek out voices that challenge your assumptions. They help you grow and see the world in new ways. Finally, reflect and adapt as you move forward. Regularly check in with yourself. It is then that you become the dreamer of vast horizons, when your spirit is drawn to the sky. Yet remember, even the tallest tree begins with its roots deep in the earth. As you reach for greatness, do not lose sight of what holds you steady. The humility to listen, to reflect, and to grow from the wisdom of others. Ambition, like the wind, can lift you high, but it is the roots of empathy that will keep you grounded. As you move forward, reflect often. Are your actions lifting others as they lift you? Are you carving paths that others can follow, or are you leaving footprints that only you can trace? True greatness isn't about the height you reach, it's about how many you bring along with you. Take a moment now and breathe deeply. Envision the path ahead and ask yourself, where do my roots lead, and how can my branches provide shelter for others? Positive hubris is not about dominance, but about connection, about standing tall while lifting the world around you. There's no need to be rigid in your ambition. You can evolve, adapt, and still stay true to your values. Imagine a world where you and all of us embrace this kind of positive hubris, where challenges are met not with fear but with courage and creativity, where limitations inspire breakthroughs and blame is replaced with collaborative problem-solving. You have the potential to create this world, starting with yourself. By believing in your infinite potential, you don't ignore the shadows of the past. You use them as contrast to paint a brighter future. You acknowledge the risks, but choose to move forward with audacity and wisdom, balancing ambition with empathy. So let us stand tall, my friend, not in dominance, but in solidarity. Let us reach for the stars while keeping our feet firmly planted on the earth we cherish. Together, we can honor both our individual journeys and our shared destiny. Let us take this moment of togetherness and walk hand in hand into a vision many dismiss as unattainable, a concrete utopia, a world not bound by the abstract but woven into the tangible, where love, beauty, and transcendence are real forces shaping our lives. This is not just a distant dream, but a reality we can begin building together, right here, right now. So, I ask you, are you ready? The idea of utopia, a perfect world, is often dismissed as mere fantasy, something unreachable, an ideal that can never be realized. But the vision of a concrete utopia is something very different. It's not about creating a flawless world overnight. Instead, it's about building spaces, moment by moment, choice by choice, where love, beauty, and transcendence can thrive. It's not perfect, but it's real. It's built from the everyday, and in that it's more powerful than any distant fantasy. What we create in the world is a reflection of our inner state. It's not a final destination, but the act of walking. Step by step it grows beneath our feet as we sow seeds of compassion and tend to the garden of the present, with care, intention, and heart in each fleeting moment. Concrete utopia is rooted in the real, in the everyday. It's not a far-off dream, but a lived reality that begins with you, in the way you interact with others, in the way you choose to see the world. It's about understanding that utopia is not an all-or-nothing proposition. It doesn't mean perfection. It means progress. It's not a place, but a process. A continual creation of conditions where human flourishing can happen, where love can deepen, where beauty can inspire, and where transcendence can lift us beyond the mundane. Concrete utopia is built on the foundation of love, a love that transcends individual desires and reaches toward the collective good. This is a love that seeks not only to elevate yourself, but to uplift those around you. It's about creating a world where everyone, you, me, all beings, can flourish. You may already sense it in your heart, like a quiet whisper, this deeper love that connects us all, a love that moves through time and space, seeking the well-being of the whole. Like the sun rising gently over the horizon, touching the earth with its warmth, this love illuminates even the darkest corners, nurturing life wherever it reaches. It is subtle yet powerful, asking nothing in return but to be felt, shared, and passed on. You can feel it in the simple moments, in the way a stranger's kindness softens the hardness of the world, in the way your heart responds to the needs of another, expanding with each act of care. This vision is also built on beauty, but not just the surface-level beauty of appearances. True beauty runs deeper, like a river flowing beneath the surface, unseen yet felt in the soul. It's the beauty of truth, harmony, and connection. You have felt it, haven't you? That moment when beauty takes your breath away, when something stirs within you that transcends the physical. You can sense it in the wind gently breathing through the canopy of the trees, in the quiet stillness of a sunset, as it paints the sky in colors too vast to comprehend. In these moments, it's as if time slows, allowing you to glimpse the eternal, where beauty becomes a doorway to the sacred, reminding you that life is far more expansive than what we see on the surface. It invites you to pause, to be present, and to feel the delicate threads that weave together all of existence. Concrete utopia is not a distant ideal, but a lived experience, built through the choices you make every day. It's in how you treat others, in how you engage with the world around you. It's about creating spaces where we are free to explore, to create, to connect, where love and beauty guide us toward a higher state of being. Concrete utopia is not just an abstract vision, it's already taking shape in the real world. There are places where people have come together to create spaces of love, beauty, and transcendence, where human potential flourishes and connection with nature is celebrated. You may not have visited them, but their stories can inspire you to begin building your own concrete utopia. Take the Findhorn Foundation in Scotland, for example. This intentional community has pioneered sustainable living and conscious co-creation with the natural world. At Findhorn, love, beauty, and transcendence are woven into the very fabric of daily life. From the way they grow their food to how they design their homes, every action is a reflection of their deep connection to the earth. You can feel it when you visit. There is a harmony there, a beauty that goes beyond aesthetics. It's a lived beauty, one that nurtures the soul and reminds you that you are part of something greater. Similarly, in Italy, the Damanhur Federation has spent decades building a vast underground temple complex, adorned with art and sacred geometry, all created by the hands of its members. This is not just a place of worship, it's a space for creativity and transcendence. The people of Damanhur believe that artistic expression is a pathway to self-discovery and spiritual growth. Their community is a living example of how beauty and creativity can foster a deeper connection to the sacred. These examples remind you that concrete utopia is not some far-off dream. It's already happening in different corners of the world. You can be part of it, whether it's through how you interact with nature, how you nurture your creative spirit, or how you choose to connect with others. You can build spaces where human potential can flourish, where love and beauty become lived realities. And if you ever need more inspiration, look no further than the world of literature and speculative fiction. Think about the worlds imagined by Ursula Le Guin in The Dispossessed, or Ernest Callenbach in Ecotopia. These stories challenge you to imagine new ways of being, societies that have transcended the limitations of our current paradigms, embracing sustainability, cooperation, and spiritual growth. These are more than just fictional worlds. They are thought experiments, invitations for you to expand your imagination. They remind you that the boundaries of what is possible are constantly shifting, and that you have the power to redraw those boundaries in your own life. Now let's pause for a moment. Can you recall a time when you stood before something so beautiful that words failed you? Perhaps it was a sunset, or a piece of music, or the smile of someone you love. In those moments, didn't it feel as though beauty was not just something to admire, but something that shaped your understanding of what is good and right? In today's world, where decisions are often driven by logic and efficiency, we have forgotten the richness that beauty brings to our moral understanding. Yet, aesthetics, the experience of beauty, is not just decoration, it's essential. Beauty has the power to awaken something within you that recognizes the sacredness of life. It calls forth a deep sense of responsibility, a desire to protect and nurture that which is precious. Beauty is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It connects you to something greater, something transcendent. When you encounter beauty, whether in nature, art, or even a simple human interaction, it stirs compassion within you. You are moved to act ethically, not because you have to, but because you want to, because you feel connected to something larger than yourself. To reclaim ethics, we must first reclaim beauty. You must allow yourself to be moved by the world around you. By embracing beauty, you begin to see the world not as something to exploit, but as something to cherish. Your choices will naturally align with this sense of reverence for life. Beauty, then, is the foundation of ethics. Through beauty, you come to understand what is truly good. It's not through rules or commandments, but through the lived experience of beauty that you learn to care for the world and the people in it. Let's now look at how beauty, throughout history, has been understood as a gateway to the divine. Plotinus, a philosopher from the Neoplatonic tradition, believed that beauty is a reflection of the divine. When you encounter something beautiful, he said, you are momentarily glimpsing the ultimate reality, the source of all creation. Imagine gazing at a serene landscape or being moved by a work of art. For Plotinus, these moments align you with the harmony of the cosmos. Beauty is not just an experience, it's a path to transcendence. Friedrich Schiller, a German philosopher, also believed in the power of beauty to shape our moral character. In his work, On the Aesthetic Education of Man, Schiller argued that aesthetic experiences harmonize your rational and emotional selves, leading you toward moral grace and virtue. Think about a time when a piece of music or art touched you deeply, stirring feelings of compassion or kindness. Schiller believed that these experiences elevate your consciousness, enabling you to transcend selfishness and embrace the goodness that beauty inspires. This understanding of beauty as a path to the sacred is echoed in spiritual traditions around the world. In Islamic thought, beauty, Jamal, is considered a reflection of God's infinite nature. The intricate designs of Islamic art are not just meant to please the eye, but to guide you toward contemplation of the divine order. Similarly, in Hinduism, the experience of rasa, aesthetic bliss, transports you into communion with the divine through art, music, and dance. Indigenous traditions, too, honor the beauty of nature as a direct expression of the sacred. Mountains, rivers, forests, all are seen as living beings with which you share a deep connection. By experiencing the beauty of the natural world, you are reminded of your responsibility to care for it, to live in harmony with the earth and all its creatures. As we close this reflection, my friend, let us remember that concrete utopia is not a distant dream. It is something we can begin building today by embracing love, beauty, and transcendence in every choice we make. Let beauty guide you, not only as an aesthetic experience, but as a moral compass, as a gateway to something greater. Together we can create a world that reflects the highest potential within us all. Together, let's continue our exploration, turning now to the power of beauty and how it shapes not only the way we see the world, but the way we live within it. Beauty has the ability to move us, to change us, to guide us towards something greater. You already know this, don't you? You have felt it, in quiet moments of awe, in the way something beautiful touches your heart. Now let's explore how beauty can be a catalyst for ethical action, how it can shape the world we long to create. When you allow yourself to be truly touched by beauty, something shifts within you. It's subtle at first, but undeniable. Your perspective widens and your heart opens. Beauty has this incredible power. It can dissolve barriers that seemed immovable. Suddenly, the lines between people, between humanity and nature, between the mundane and the divine, begin to blur. Can you feel that? Let these words unfold like petals in the early morning dew. Let us speak of aesthetics as if it were the heartbeat of the cosmos, pulsing through the veins of the world, guiding the hand of ethics with grace and elegance. Indeed, beauty, in its quiet magnificence, awakens the deepest call to goodness within. Imagine walking through a forest. The sunlight filters through the leaves, the air is rich with the scent of earth and foliage, and there's a quiet hum of life all around you. In that moment, you feel part of something larger, something whole, something interconnected. Every tree, every leaf, every breath is part of a greater tapestry, and you are a thread woven into it. And in the stillness of the moment, the soft air whispers into your ears. A flower blooms. Its fragrance fills the air, unseen. What stirs the heart to care? This sense of belonging can inspire you, can it? It makes you want to live in a way that honors and protects this world. You start to feel a deep responsibility, not out of obligation, but out of love. By cultivating an appreciation for beauty in your daily life, you become more attuned to the impact of your choices. You might notice how you start leaning toward actions that are in harmony with the beauty you see. Perhaps you feel drawn to sustainable practices, recycling, conserving resources, making mindful decisions about the products you use. Or maybe you notice a shift in how you interact with others, seeking more compassion and understanding. Beauty awakens empathy, encouraging you to align your actions with the values it embodies. Beauty resonates with qualities like harmony, balance, and unity. When you experience beauty, something within you remembers these universal principles, and they start to shape the way you live. Ethical actions become more than just rules to follow. They become a natural extension of the beauty you perceive. It's as if you are contributing to the harmony you cherish, making the world more beautiful through the way you choose to act. And here's something important. You don't need grand gestures to embrace beauty. You don't have to create monumental works of art or change your life overnight. It all starts with small, mindful choices. things that enrich your life and those around you. Take a moment each day to notice the beauty around you. It's there. The bloom of a flower by your window, the laughter of a child, the simple rhythm of your own breath. These are the moments that can fill you with gratitude if you just allow yourself to experience them. You don't need anything more than presence to find inspiration in these simple things. And don't forget about expressing yourself, whether it's painting, writing, playing music, or even gardening. It's about the joy that comes from creating. You don't have to be a professional to let your creativity flow. It's the act of doing it that connects you to a deeper sense of beauty and nurtures something vital within you. Now think about the spaces you spend your time in. You can bring beauty into your life just by making small changes, transforming your living or working space into somewhere that feels harmonious, peaceful. Surround yourself with things that uplift and inspire you, whether that's plants, colors, or artwork that speaks to you. And this extends beyond your personal space. How about the world itself? Little choices make a big difference. Maybe it's as simple as recycling, conserving water, or supporting eco-friendly initiatives. When you start to see the natural world as something beautiful and interconnected with your own life, you begin to feel a sense of responsibility for preserving that beauty. But perhaps the most important part of all of this is connection with others. Building relationships based on kindness, respect, and understanding helps you see the beauty in others, and just as importantly, helps them see it in themselves. This is where true beauty begins to grow, not just within you, but in the lives you touch. Lastly, support the arts in your community when you can. Art has a way of bringing people together, sparking dialogue, and inspiring change. It's not just about creating beauty, it's about sharing it and helping others see the world in new, meaningful ways. Of course, some might say that beauty is subjective. What moves one person may leave another untouched. You may wonder, how can beauty serve as a universal foundation for ethics when it seems so personal? It's a fair question, but there's more to this than meets the eye. While personal tastes do vary, the experience of beauty often taps into something deeper, something universal. Think about it. Moments of awe, wonder, and connection have a way of transcending cultural or individual differences. Whether it's the majesty of a sunset, the power of a symphony, or the simplicity of a smile, these experiences evoke shared human emotions. By focusing on the qualities that evoke these responses, harmony, balance, unity, we can find common ground. Beauty in this sense goes beyond personal preference. It touches something fundamental in all of us. Some may argue that focusing on beauty distracts from pressing ethical issues like justice or equality. But beauty and ethics are not in conflict. In fact, beauty can illuminate injustice by showing us the stark contrast between what is and what could be. It can inspire you to act by making you acutely aware of the dissonance between the current state of the world and the harmonious ideal you envision. In a world that often demands practicality, beauty might seem idealistic. Yet, integrating beauty into your decisions doesn't hinder practicality. It enriches it. When you allow beauty to be a guiding principle, you start considering the emotional, spiritual, and communal well-being of everyone involved. Beauty encourages holistic solutions that go beyond mere efficiency or functionality. It deepens your approach to life. By embracing beauty as the foundation of ethics, you open yourself to a profound transformation. Beauty is no longer just something you experience. It becomes a way of being in the world. Your actions no longer stem from obligation or duty, but from a genuine desire to contribute positively to the world around you. When beauty permeates your life, you begin to act from a place of love and compassion. You see the interconnectedness of all things, and this understanding shapes your ethical choices. You start to feel a deep reverence for life, not just as a concept, but as something sacred. This blending of aesthetics, ethics, and transcendence brings with it an invitation, a call to live with a deeper sense of purpose. Start by living authentically. Let your actions reflect your core values, the things that matter most to you. When your life aligns with what you truly believe in and the beauty you see around you, it creates a sense of harmony within yourself. Then there's compassion. It's about recognizing that we all share this human experience, with its joys and struggles. Once you start seeing that shared humanity, it becomes easier to act with kindness and empathy, to treat others the way you'd want to be treated. Joy is something we sometimes overlook, but it's found in the simplest things. A good meal, a conversation with a friend, the feel of the sun on your skin. These moments are where fulfillment lives. When you slow down enough to appreciate them, life feels richer, more complete. And with all this comes the ability to inspire change. The beauty you see and experience, the values you hold, can fuel your efforts to create a world that's more just, more harmonious, more beautiful. Small actions, when rooted in these deep experiences, ripple outward and make a difference. Reclaiming beauty is not a passive act. It is a powerful, intentional choice that shapes your perceptions, your actions, and ultimately, the world around you. By allowing beauty to guide you, you reconnect with the sacred, transcend the ordinary, and walk an ethical path illuminated by love and compassion. So I invite you, open your eyes to the beauty that surrounds you. Let it fill your heart. Let it inspire you to create a world where love, beauty, and transcendence are not just ideals, but lived realities. This is the moment when all the threads of our journey converge, when the lost promise of modernity can be reclaimed and reborn in a new light. We stand, as you do, at the threshold of a new dawn. Humanity has arrived at a critical crossroads. You can sense it, can't you? A moment that holds within it the potential for profound transformation. For too long we've been trapped in the cycles of entrapment, tied down by materialism that leaves our souls hollow, caught in technology that distracts and disconnects, and shackled by rigid identities that fracture the unity we all crave. These forces, once believed to be our pathways to freedom, have often only led us deeper into labyrinths of disconnection and dissatisfaction. But imagine, just for a moment, a different path, a leap not merely forward, but upward, beyond the limitations that have held us captive. This leap is not about technological milestones or economic growth. It is about something far more profound, an evolution of consciousness. A leap into the realization that the true frontier is not external. It lies within us, in the untapped depths of human potential, in you. To make this evolutionary leap, we must first recognize the patterns that have kept us bound. We need to acknowledge how the relentless pursuit of material success has left us spiritually impoverished, even if we've gained everything the external world has to offer. See how our fixation on technology has, at times, distanced us from the essence of our humanity. Understand how rigid identities, those roles we cling to so tightly, have fragmented our shared existence, isolating us in silos of separation. Transcending these cycles calls for courage, the courage to question the status quo, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to envision something new. It requires a form of holistic growth that harmonizes mind, body, and spirit, integrating wisdom from all corners of the human experience. This is an invitation for you, for each of us, to participate actively in the co-creation of a reality that reflects our highest ideals, a reality rooted in love, creativity, and unity. But to walk this path, you must first confront one of humanity's deepest fears, the unknown, the abyss that lies just beyond the familiar edges of your reality. Throughout history, the abyss has symbolized the terrifying void where certainty dissolves and the ego fears annihilation. Yet here, in the depths of unknowing, lies the gateway to raw transcendence. It is in this space where something new and profound can emerge. Throughout the ages, across different cultures and epochs, sages and seekers have ventured into this abyss and returned transformed. Consider the ancient Greeks, who, through the rites of the Eleusinian mysteries, sought profound insights into life and death. They embraced the unknown, journeying symbolically into the underworld to confront the mysteries of existence. In doing so, they emerged with a renewed sense of purpose and understanding. In the East, practitioners of Zen Buddhism engage in meditation practices that empty the mind, creating space for satori, a sudden moment of awakening that transcends logic or rationality. In confronting the void within, they dissolve the illusions of the self and connect with a deeper, more authentic reality. In many indigenous cultures around the world, rites of passage involve a direct confrontation with the unknown. Vision quests, sweat lodges, and other ceremonial practices are designed to peel away the superficial layers of the self, revealing deeper truths and a more profound connection to the universal consciousness. These traditions teach us that the void is not something to fear. It is a space of potential, a place where new understandings and possibilities can be born. By drawing from these historical and cultural perspectives, we can find both guidance and inspiration for our own journeys into the unknown. Embracing raw transcendence requires you to step into the abyss with an open heart and an open mind. It means letting go of the need for absolute certainty and allowing yourself to be vulnerable to the mysteries of existence. In doing so, you reclaim the fullness of your being, no longer just a passive observer, but an active participant in the unfolding of the universe. Consider the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Within its cocoon, the caterpillar dissolves into a formless state, literally surrendering to the unknown. Yet from this dissolution emerges a creature of exquisite beauty and freedom. In much the same way, when you confront the abyss, you undergo a metamorphosis. Old limitations fall away, and you emerge with a more expansive consciousness, one that is deeply connected to the essence of life itself. By facing the abyss, you move beyond the superficial layers of existence. You tap into the raw essence of life and discover that the void is not empty. It is teeming with infinite possibilities. It is a space where you can redefine yourself, not by external standards, but by the intrinsic values of love, creativity, and unity. Now, with this newfound understanding, we are poised to create a world that reflects the highest expressions of our humanity, a world rooted in openness, creativity, and infinite potential. Creativity is the lifeblood of transcendence. Through artistic expression, we tap into the wellspring of the human spirit, transcending boundaries and connecting with others on deeper levels. Art becomes a medium through which the ineffable, the things that cannot be easily expressed through words, is communicated. Art serves as a bridge between the visible and the invisible, between the individual and the collective. Think about how music can stir emotions beyond words, or how a painting can capture the essence of a moment in time, making it eternal. Literature, dance, sculpture, all forms of art invite you to explore the depths of your inner world and then share those discoveries with others. Through art, you foster openness. You begin to see the world through diverse lenses, which helps to cultivate empathy and understanding. Creativity is not just about personal expression. It is a collective force that has the power to heal, to inspire, and to transcend. It helps us imagine what is possible and to bring that vision into being. As we stand here, at the edge of this profound transformation, you are invited to take part in reclaiming modernity's betrayed promise. By transcending the cycles of materialism, technological distraction, and rigid identity, we can co-create a world rooted in openness, creativity, and infinite potential. Together, we can reclaim the fullness of life, one that honors the values of love, creativity, and unity, and one that embraces the mystery and raw transcendence of the unknown. Let us move forward, together and with purpose. I invite you to imagine a world rooted in love, beauty, and transcendence, and to see it not as a distant dream but as a tangible reality we can begin to build together. The vision of a world guided by love, beauty, and transcendence is not some unreachable utopia. It's a possibility that exists within our grasp. It's not an abstract ideal, but something we can begin manifesting step by step in the everyday choices you and I make. Together, let's take a moment to imagine what that might look like. Think about what it would be like to cultivate spaces where people truly come together, places like community gardens, art centers, or local festivals. Imagine a neighborhood where creativity flows, where people are encouraged to connect, to collaborate. These spaces could become the beating heart of a community, places that bring people closer and inspire action. And you can be part of this, helping to nurture spaces where people feel seen, where they feel inspired to share and create together. Now picture education in a different light, not just a focus on academic success, but an approach that nurtures the whole person. Imagine schools where emotional intelligence, ethical awareness, and creativity are just as important as math or science. Classrooms that blend art, mindfulness, and hands-on learning, fostering compassion and well-rounded growth. This is something you can support, advocating for an education system that values the holistic development of each individual. Then there's sustainability. Every choice we make impacts the planet. Picture yourself adopting a lifestyle that reflects the interconnectedness of all life, choosing renewable energy, supporting conservation, and backing initiatives that promote equity. Each of these actions, even the small ones, moves us toward a future where living in harmony with the earth is second nature. It's about recognizing that every step, no matter how small, contributes to a healthier planet. And finally, think about how we can use technology. In a world that sometimes feels fragmented, technology could be a bridge, not a barrier. Imagine engaging in conversations that break down cultural walls, that celebrate diversity and promote understanding. You can help create global dialogue, bringing people together through meaningful conversations that transcend borders and unite us in our shared humanity. By stepping into these roles, you become an active participant in shaping a world where infinite potential isn't just an idea, it's reality. Each choice you make contributes to the collective evolution of humanity. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing beneath the towering arches of a Gothic cathedral. Sunlight streams through stained glass windows, casting a kaleidoscope of colors onto the stone floor. In that moment, you are not just an observer, you are a participant in a transcendent experience, a moment where beauty touches the sacred, and you feel connected to something greater than yourself. Throughout history, sacred architecture has been more than just a functional space. It's been a gateway to the divine, designed to elevate the soul. From the awe-inspiring pyramids of Egypt to the serene temples of Asia, these structures reflect our deepest aspirations, to reach beyond the tangible, to communicate with the cosmos, and to embody the harmony of the universe in physical form. Consider the Taj Mahal, its white marble glowing under the moonlight, a testament to eternal love, a reminder of the interplay between earthly beauty and divine inspiration. Or the ancient Mayan temples, aligned with celestial events, connecting human existence to the rhythms of the cosmos. These structures, with their intricate symbolism, geometric patterns, and profound iconography, are not just beautiful. They are spiritual experiences. The spiraling minarets, the soaring spires, the meticulously crafted details, they are designed to evoke wonder and contemplation, drawing you into a deeper awareness of the vastness of the universe and your place within it. And the act of creating these sacred spaces was, in itself, a spiritual practice. Artisans and architects infused their work with intention and devotion, knowing their creations would serve as touchstones for generations, a physical manifestation of humanity's quest for meaning and transcendence. But art doesn't just reside in grand structures. It's in the paintings, the sculptures, the music, the dance that have long been vessels for exploring the depths of the human spirit. These art forms speak directly to the heart and soul, bypassing the intellect and awakening something deeper. In Islamic art, the intricate patterns and flowing calligraphy are more than just decoration. They are a visual meditation on unity and infinity. As you trace the geometric patterns or lose yourself in the flowing lines of Arabic script, you are invited to contemplate the interconnectedness of all things. The symmetry and repetition draw you into a state of reflection, dissolving the boundaries between the self and the divine. In Hindu culture, the classical arts, dance, music, and poetry, are sacred practices meant to evoke rasa, a state of aesthetic rapture. The dancer, moving gracefully, becomes the embodiment of divine stories. The musician's notes resonate with the vibrations of the universe. In these moments, you are not just watching, you are part of the dance, the music, the story, experiencing a union with the greater whole. Beauty is not just something we observe, it has the power to elevate us, to guide us toward deeper truths and more ethical living. For the philosopher Plotinus, beauty is a reflection of the divine. When you encounter true beauty, whether in nature, in art, or in virtuous acts, it stirs something deep within you. Imagine gazing upon a serene landscape where the sky meets the sea, the colors blending into one another. In that moment, you are reminded of the harmony that exists beyond the surface of life, and you are drawn to align yourself with that harmony. Philosopher Friedrich Schiller believed that beauty has the power to harmonize your rational and emotional selves. Engaging with beauty, he argued, cultivates moral sensibility. Think about a time when a piece of music moved you deeply or inspired you to act with kindness. Beauty, in this sense, becomes a catalyst for ethical living, encouraging you to align your actions with the higher ideals it embodies. In the modern world, artists continue to push boundaries, expanding our consciousness and inviting us to transcend everyday realities. Artists like Jackson Pollock and Mark Rothko broke conventions, using color, form, and texture to evoke emotional and spiritual responses. Their work invites you to move beyond literal representation and experience art as a reflection of inner states. Contemporary artists like Olafur Eliasson and Yayoi Kusama create immersive installations that envelop you, transforming spaces into experiential realms. Walking through a mirrored room or a space filled with shifting light patterns, you are prompted to reflect on your place in the universe, feeling both infinitesimal and connected to the infinite. And yet you don't need to visit a grand cathedral or an art gallery to experience the power of creativity and transcendence. Everyday creativity, whether through writing, painting, cooking, or simply creating something with your hands, can serve as a pathway to deeper connection and understanding. When you lose yourself in a creative act, you enter a state of flow. Time dissolves, and you become fully present. In these moments, the boundaries between you and your activity blur, and you tap into a deeper wellspring of intuition and insight. By embracing your innate creativity, you align yourself with the universal creative impulse, the same force that brings galaxies into being and that inspires innovation. In these moments, you become a co-creator in the unfolding of existence. As we look toward a future shaped by openness and creativity, let's take a moment to reflect on how the arts can truly transform both ourselves and the world around us. Think about the impact of fostering artistic communities. Imagine the energy that comes from supporting local theaters, art classes, or music groups, spaces where people can freely express themselves and connect with others on a deeper level. These creative hubs can become the soul of a community, places where people are seen, heard, and inspired. You can be a part of this by encouraging and supporting local arts initiatives, helping to build environments where creativity flourishes. Now, consider the importance of integrating the arts into education. From an early age, creativity should be given the same weight as other subjects. Picture a world where children are encouraged to think critically, feel empathy, and approach problems with innovation, all through the lens of creative expression. You can advocate for this, helping to ensure that arts education isn't an afterthought, but a foundation for developing compassionate and inventive minds. Creativity isn't just for artists, though. Imagine embracing it in every area of life, from your work to your daily routine. When we celebrate original thinking and the courage to approach challenges in new ways, we open up limitless possibilities. You have the power to nurture a culture that values imagination, that sees creativity as an essential part of both progress and fulfillment. Finally, think about the power of creating sacred spaces in your own life. Whether it's a quiet corner of your home, a garden, a meditation room, or an art installation, These are the places that allow us to pause, reflect, and reconnect. Modern sanctuaries don't need to be grand. They just need to offer moments of peace and inspiration. You can craft these spaces not just for yourself, but for others, offering a refuge in an often chaotic world. By embracing these ideas, you're not just supporting the arts, you're fostering a future where creativity, connection, and contemplation guide us toward personal and collective transformation. Through creativity and the arts, we open doors to transcendent experiences that enrich our lives and expand our horizons. Art becomes not just an object or activity, but a bridge, a way of connecting us to ourselves, to each other, and to the profound mysteries of existence. Let us embrace the transformative power of creativity. Allow it to guide you toward a deeper understanding of the world and your place within it. In doing so, you contribute to a collective awakening, fostering a culture that values beauty, innovation, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. We find ourselves now at the close of this profound journey, where contemplation must transform into action. This is the moment where the ideas and insights explored can become tangible, woven into the fabric of daily life. The path forward, shaped by love, beauty, and transcendence, calls not for perfection, but for presence, commitment, and courage. Let's refine these closing thoughts, ensuring they speak directly to you, so that you not only hear them, but feel them as a personal call to action, a guide for the road ahead. The ideas and insights we have explored on this journey are profound, yes, but they must be more than concepts. For true change to take root, these principles must be grounded in lived experience. Through your daily actions, through the choices you make, through your unwavering commitment, this vision of a world shaped by love, beauty, and transcendence can become real. This is not a distant dream. It's a reality you can help create, starting right now. Together, let's explore some tangible, practical steps you can take to embody these principles and contribute to the collective evolution that awaits us. It begins with you, within yourself. The path to transcendence starts with cultivating presence. When you are fully present, the infinite touches you in even the simplest moments. Consider making mindfulness a daily practice, whether through meditation, walks in nature, or simply taking a few moments each day to pause, breathe deeply, and reconnect with the present moment. In these sacred spaces of stillness, you reconnect with the boundless potential that lives at the heart of your being. Presence also means being attentive to the beauty that surrounds you. Allow yourself to be moved by the profound wonders of existence, a sunset, a smile, the rustling of wind through the trees. In these moments of reverence, you open yourself to love, to compassion, to a deeper understanding of your interconnectedness with all life. Creativity is not limited to artists. It is part of being human, a fundamental aspect of your soul, yearning for expression. Embrace your creativity. Whether through writing, painting, music, dance, or any form that calls to your spirit, allow yourself to be a conduit for the universal creative impulse. Let it flow through you, shaping something unique, something meaningful. Creativity is also a mindset, a way of approaching life with curiosity and an open mind. It's about questioning assumptions and seeking new solutions to old challenges. Bring this creative spirit into your personal and professional life, embracing the courage to think differently, to innovate, to create beauty in unexpected ways. Our evolution is not a solitary journey. It is a shared awakening, one that calls us to come together in community. Seek out communities that align with these principles of love, beauty, and creativity. Whether in local groups, online forums, or intentional gatherings, find spaces where you can support and inspire others, where you can share your gifts, insights, and commitment to co-creating a more beautiful world. In your daily life, foster connection and compassion in all your interactions. Approach others with empathy, with understanding, with the genuine desire to bridge divides. Let your actions be guided by love and the recognition that we are all part of the same tapestry of existence. But remember, personal growth is only one part of the journey. Our evolution must also be reflected in the collective realm. Become an advocate for change in your community. Support initiatives that promote sustainability, social justice, and the integration of arts and creativity into all aspects of life. Get involved in local decision-making processes. Lend your voice to causes that resonate with your values, and actively work to create spaces where love, beauty, and transcendence can thrive. On a broader scale, you can support organizations and movements that are shifting societal paradigms, promoting holistic education, environmental stewardship, and the celebration of diverse cultures. Each action you take contributes to the collective momentum that will reshape the very foundations of our societies. Perhaps the most important step you can take is to live intentionally. Let every choice, every action, be guided by love, beauty, and transcendence. Align your daily habits, your relationships, and even your consumption patterns with these values. In doing so, you create a life that becomes a living testament to the world you wish to see. A world where love, creativity, and unity are not just ideals, but lived realities. As you walk this path with intention, you will find that your presence alone becomes a beacon of inspiration for others. You become a living embodiment of the change you wish to see, and as you radiate these values into the world, you awaken others to the possibilities that await them, inviting them to join in this collective evolution. Remember, this is not a journey of perfection. It's a journey of intention and perseverance. Each step you take, no matter how small, contributes to the greater whole. Trust in the process, and know that your commitment to love, beauty, and transcendence is a powerful force, one that ripples outward, touching lives, inspiring hearts, and shaping the future in ways you may never fully comprehend. As we walk this path together, let us hold on to the vision of a world transformed, a world where love, beauty, and the infinite potential of the human spirit are not distant ideals, but lived realities. It's a world that awaits our co-creation, a world that calls to each of us to step into our highest expression and contribute to the collective evolution that is unfolding before us. Embrace this journey with an open heart and an unwavering commitment, for it is through our individual and collective actions that we will reclaim modernity's betrayed promise and usher in a new era of transcendence, beauty, and love. Reclaiming modernity's betrayed promise is not just an abstract idea, it's a call to action, a call for you to awaken to your true nature and to the boundless possibilities that lie ahead. It's an invitation, isn't it? An invitation for you to step beyond the familiar cycles that have held you captive, to embrace the transformative power of the unknown, and to co-create a world where openness, creativity, and love are the lights that guide us forward. Here we are, standing at a crossroads. You can feel it, can't you? The choice is in your hands. Will we cling to the familiar shores of the past, to the habits and systems that no longer serve us? Or will we have the courage to embark on the journey toward a new horizon, one filled with infinite possibility? The path ahead may be uncertain, but within that uncertainty lies the seed of infinite potential, waiting for you to plant it. Let's choose to leap together. Let's transcend the limitations that have confined us and step boldly into the future we are capable of creating. In taking that step, you won't just be reclaiming the promise of modernity. You'll be helping to usher in an era that reflects the highest expressions of our shared humanity. The choice is before us, my friend. Let's leap.